Huh. Hi, everyone. Just excuse me one sec. I am Tara, aka Spirit Mother, and I would like to welcome you all back to my channel on YouTube, Spirit to Spirit, Teachings of Going Within Self, on TikTok, 1974 Enlightened Soul, and I'm also live on my Facebook. Give me one sec, please. Okay. If I'm sort of in my pajamas, in my clothes, and I'm blessed. Okay, we're all. You just got to wake up to knowing that. Okay. If you're new to my channel, I always usually recommend or suggest that people go and read the description on my YouTube channel, Spirit to Spirit, Teachings of Going Within Self, in order to get a better understanding of what my channel is about, especially lives 111 on the timer, as I said that. Welcome in. Today, let's talk about my ancestors. Okay, I brought it briefly here one other day when I was talking about Oak Island in Nova Scotia. Okay, and I went down the list of who my ancestors are. Okay, because right now there's it's a touchy subject because you just had an election in the States, and from what I understand, Donald Trump won. Okay, so there's people happy about it, and there's people who are disappointed about it. Okay, now a lot of people believe that Donald Trump is the ancestor of King David. So it's said to be foretold, whether it's in the Bible, the Torah, or what have you. I haven't really read any of that stuff. I'm going by what my ancestors are bringing forward. Earlier, I put a little bit of a video up asking Donald Trump to, let the people know how he found God. Okay. And that a lot of people figure that, the Antichrist can't say Jesus Christ. Well, I asked before, I kind of questioned it before, like it was Jesus and Yeshua the same person. Okay. So if Jesus Christ is his own person, he can say his own name, right? Okay. So, I don't talk a lot about the Bible, but that seems to be a lot of what's going on. I'm not going to come in here and read a bunch of verses or what have you. I might refer to different things because it pertains to names within my ancestral line. Okay. Now, I have an article. It's Armstrong Institute of Biblical Archaeology. Okay. Now, I picked this out, 7:44 on the timer. I picked this out because, I've been doing a lot of looking into my own ancestral line and what have you. And mainly, like, I was looking in one part of it until I decided that, okay, I'm going to look into my Grampy's side, but I'm going to look at his mother, or his grandmother. Okay. Well, yes, because I went and I did his father to find out who his grandmother was. It was quite interesting because on most searches I did for genealogy, I could only get back to like my 8th great granddaddy. Okay. Until I looked at my Grampy's father's mother's side, 444 on the timer, as I said that. And I know that they affect my algorithms because, they don't like you. They don't like you coming in and talking about this stuff because it kind of makes it has people questioning things. Okay. But, didn't Donald Trump always refer to QAnon? Well, to me, QAnon is, questions and answers. Okay. So it's that part going and looking for your own answers and trying to figure out. Now, I'm going to, confirmation. Like I said, this is going to be a very touchy subject, okay? Because right now we're working through the thing with the Palestinians and for Israelites and Donald Trump and all of, biblical times. I kind of laugh right now, but to a lot of people, I'm not laughing at what's happening. I'm laughing at like kind of just the whole, when you kind of go and you look at it. Thank you. It's like holy, it's a serious, I do swear on my channel, it's a serious mind fuck. Okay. Like I said, somebody had told me before, sometimes you got to speak their language. I have put out there that my channel is not for people under the age of 18. Okay. Because it addresses a lot of different things and there's swearing and what have you. Okay. I channel. I'm constantly doing it. Okay. I've actually brought something forward before that my 6th great granddaddy and his children, mainly the boys, had a very big religious seal. Okay. So I know that like a lot of people, they say religion. Okay. I understand you saying about religion because there's been a lot of conflict between religion. Okay. And if you think back to when it was said that 2 brothers split off. Okay. 2 families split off and went their separate ways. Okay. I understand where that is now because spirit brings me to what it is that I need to know. And if you want to try to shut me down, it's that part of, I can feel it in my throat. Okay. So in this article from the Institute, because I also I have Native, I have Irish, Scottish. I know there's like the United Kingdom, Europe, and a lot of different things. Okay. And a lot of, I've heard from other people that originally the Jewish people originated from Scotland. Okay. Now this is like, I have a book, okay, because I actually look at different books and I get drawn to certain ones. And like I said, this is a very touchy subject because a lot of people were hung, burned at the stake, crucified, and what have you, because of magic. And people say, oh, magic's not real. Yes, it is. Okay. It's been around since its beginning. The ones that tell you it's not real, they're the ones that were using it. Okay. So now I am like looking through my genealogy and my ancestors and what have you. I understand more. Okay. Oh. I understand more of why I am the way that I am now. Okay. That I'm working with my ancestors. I'm working with spirit. I'm working with my guides. I'm working with my angels. I'm working with my deceased family and soul family and what have you. Okay. I don't pick and choose between anyone, because to me, we're all family, whether we're feuding or not. So the article is, were the Celtic Druids pagan Israelite priests? Okay. Oh, shit. Below that, my channel's not for everyone. Some are going to understand and some are not. Some's going to like me, hate me, love me, loathe me. Want to smack me, want to shut me down. And it's not being cocky. It's saying, I guess you're going to do what you think you got to do, right? If it helps you get through every day. Okay. So there'll be English, there'll be different forms of languages coming out and what have you, because, sometimes it's like the spirits, it's the ancestral line, they're feuding, and it all comes at the same time. So it can be aggressive, it can be assertive, it can be crying, it can be laughing. You never know what you're going to get on my channel. I may start on one thing and then they take me somewhere else. Parallel practices, festivals, clothing, symbols, ritual sites, and evidence of migration. Okay. Like I said, it is on Armstrong Institution of Biblical Archaeology. And the article is, were the Celtic Druids pagan Israelite priests? Okay. So I am reading, and I'm not the best of reader, but oh well. The Druids were a mysterious ancient priestly class that originated in Western Europe, particularly in the British Isles. They come to some infamy following contract with the Romans, who brought reports of human sacrifices. Thanks especially to the writings of Julius Caesar. I know it's a touchy subject for people. You don't want to stay in. You don't have to. I don't tell you got to watch my channel. You come in because you want to be here. Typically seen as barbarians, the Druids were in fact a highly regulated and educated pagan class that presided over matters not only religious, but also juridical, medical, and political. And today, after 112,000 years, Hiatus, Hiatus, there has been somewhat of a cult rival of Druidry. Who are the ancient Druids? Where did they come from? And what did they teach? Okay. I'm understanding things a lot more because I connect with energies, not only around me, but within other people. I've been told from others that it sounds like I'm speaking Hebrew, Aramaic, Celtic, German, Ukraine, just a bunch of different languages. Like I know where my ancestors came from, and like Swiss, Hopi, what have you. It just all comes out however it comes out. Sometimes it all comes out all intertwined together because it's like those spirits are all trying to speak at once because everybody wants to be heard. They want their story heard. They want their life heard. They want you to know what's going on. And some people won't believe this. And that's entirely up to yourself. When I got accepted to university, I was thinking about going and doing religious studies. Okay. I just heard, why didn't you? Because right now I'm not in it. Like I got accepted. I'm not quite in that place yet where I can actually go in and hear them, because I would like where I channel, I would challenge their theories. And, right now they don't want that. And I told people, if you don't know what I'm speaking, get a translator. It may come. Oh, okay. And what did they teach? The same questions were asked as far back as the days of ancient Rome, with interested individuals traveling to Britain to investigate. It may come as a surprise, but the Druid religion directly parallels in many ways that of the ancient pagan Israelite priests. From types of sacrifices to clothing to ritual locations to administration to festivals, worships. This begs the question. It's spelled B-E-G-S. Were the Celtic Druids pagan Israelite priests? Let's examine one of the key origins of ancient institutionalized Israelite paganism and how it relates to biblical and secular evidence of deportation and immigration of the Israelites up into ancient Europe. Okay, see, is this stuff that people know, or are people just like feeling like they're going to pick a side? Okay, I know right now that they're trying to stop my algorithms. I'm not stupid because nothing's moving right now. Okay. 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 Meet King Jeroboam. Jeroboam. Many people heard about this person. Okay. When King Solomon died, c. 940 BC, Israel was a powerful kingdom. Solomon left Israel to his son, Rehoboam, who dealt harshly with the people, even dramatically raising taxes. King Rehoboam's, Rehoboams, apostrophe S. I told you I don't pronounce things correctly, so I'll spell them out. Cruel leadership provoked a revolution. In 1 Kings 12, the chapter that describes these events, the term Israel refers to 10 specific tribes. Verse 19 says that the Israelites rebelled against the house of David unto this day. Okay? Did you catch that? Rebelled against the house of David unto this day. This is not to cause friction. This is to bring truth to light, whether people want to realize it or not. Okay, because you're fighting the ancestral lines fight, because it's kept going. The rebellion was led by Jeroboam, Jeroboam, a prominent leader from the northern tribe of Ephraim, Ephraim, verse 22 Chronicles 10:3. Following the revolt, Jeroboam the name I can't pronounce, was made king over all Israel. Okay? Like I said, this is going to perturb people, or, it might bring some light to understanding of, like, a lot of people say we're in biblical times, okay? And people talk about the Antichrist and what have you. That's why I question Donald Trump. Okay? Because in many ways, it was like, didn't they say that Jesus couldn't do anything in front of his people? What was it actually like? I'm going to ask and question again. Was Jesus and Yeshua the same person, or were they actually twins? And one was raised by a pope, and the other one by Mary and Joseph. Okay. People don't like to ask these questions because it's so taboo. Not mocking people, I'm just saying, hello. The rebellion was led by, did I get that right? Onto this day. Okay. The rebellion was led by Jeroboam, a prominent leader. Okay. Over Israel. Okay. I read that. Sorry, but not. This was the moment Israel split into two kingdoms. I just heard, what? Fuck? They never said that. Okay. The northern kingdom, situated in the region of Samaria, the Bible continued to call Israel. This kingdom consisted of 10 tribes and was led by King Jeroboam. The southern kingdom, named Judah, consists of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin, as well as the Levites. Judah was led by King Rehoboam, and its headquarters remained in Jerusalem. My ancestor line on my great Grammy's side was very interesting. It's the side that I went 11 generations back. And the names in there, they're not your normal names that you'd hear every day. These two kingdoms, through family, became arch rivals. And I just happened to come across this book. I didn't read yet. I read the back and it drew me to it. It's like, shit, man, we get thrown back in. Sort your shit out, people. Okay? Jerusalem remained in Jerusalem. Okay? Became arch rivals. King Jeroboam didn't bask in success for long, securing the allegiance of 2 to 3 million disgruntled Israelites was easy. He now faced the challenge of keeping it. His people were accustomed to looking to Jerusalem, to the temple priesthood, and the Davidite monarchy for leadership. Under Kings David and Solomon, the government displayed strong, stable leadership, politically, religiously, and culturally. If you don't want to hear me reading this, you don't have to be in here. You can always go out the same way you came in. Not being rude. Israelites' new king knew this would have to change, and quickly. Jeroboam's immediate goal was to serve his people's connection to Jerusalem, lest they gravitated back to Judea and its capital. 1 Kings 12:26-27. To do this, Jerusalem invented an independent political and religious system in Israel. What are they doing now? Read for yourself what King Jeroboam told his people. And then it writes, "It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt." Verse 28, King James Version. The king told his people, stop looking to Jerusalem. Embrace this new political religious system I have developed for you. Did you catch that? I'm not this is, I'm reading. Okay. And okay, this is what, okay. So for people that believe that they read the Bible, they're reading the Bible, it's what parts do you understand? Okay. Because right now it's two, they're against each other. Okay. The same as you have two forms of Christianity. But people don't realize that, because this was the Christianity that Yeshua and Mary Magdalene were teaching. Okay. And a lot of people, they'll get their nose out of joint with regards to that. And that's on you. Okay. In that time, men were not real fond of women. Women were considered a bags. And I actually, just bear with me. Oh, well, shit. It's not showing it. Okay. It's not, I was doing a lot of decoding before. And that's what I ended up getting. Okay. So, okay. So there's a Christianity of going by religion and the book, political, and intertwined. Okay. And then there's the Christ consciousness. Okay. And a lot of people, they don't believe in that and they just blow it off. But, that's up to you. Okay. But this is what I go. This is how I came into my enlightenment. This is how I started speaking different forms of languages and moving energy. I didn't learn it from a book or anything. Okay, and a lot of people are saying and I'll it's, what do you? And I'll say it again, they keep telling us we're sins. We have sins. You're sinners. You're sins. Well, the sins are the systems integrated into society. And this is a prime example. The king told his people, okay, so what did King Jeroboam's counterfeit political religious system look like? The religion of Jeroboam, like all good Feiters, Counterfeiters, King Jeroboam relied heavily upon the original product for inspiration. Basically, he took Israel's existing religion and refashioned it to his own liking, adding in doses of paganism that he had gleaned from Egypt, where he had lived. 1 Kings 12:2, and surrounding Gentile nations. His strategy was effective to the Israelites. King Jeroboam's political religious system was similar enough to the one in Jerusalem to be believable. Did you catch that? C'est que tu t'écris à ton nom, qui peut être. Is that not a form of trickery? I remember hearing another story about somebody coming in and posing as somebody they weren't. Go watch Carson. Billy Carson. With everything, stuff resonates, some stuff don't. Some stuff makes sense to me and some stuff it just don't right now. And it's because I'm not seeing things from, what he's seeing or his perspective, because I haven't been there. And I haven't been there and able to connect with the surroundings. Because I can walk up to artifacts and feel the energy on that artifact. The good mojo and the bad mojo. And then I will start speaking and the story comes out. I am a voice for the voiceless. Who has the people who embraced it and never looked back. So they were lied to. They were deceived. And that's the part of where religion is so, in many cases, it's so divided. Because I heard, so what do you say about the religious seal? My ancestors were rebelling. They were standing up. And now you have, it's God against the devil or what have you. Well, it's person against person when it's not like, it's like, come on, people. Here we are, how many millennials later, and the same shit's going on. And it's not because somebody's going to come in and make a deal, because I'd have to ask, what fucking deal are you making? What sacrifice are you making? Are you sacrificing the people? I want to know. I'm allowed to ask these questions. Whether they like it or not. I was doing my video earlier and I was saying something and all of a sudden my camera stopped and I had to press record again. And then as it stopped, I heard the words fucking bitch. Getotoroi, roof roof. I will protect my young. Let's take it how you will. You can see some of the specific beliefs and practices of Jeroboam's religion in the accompanying table further down. Let's notice some especially pertaining details. Like I said, some ain't going to like what I have to say. And I know that they cut my algorithms. You silly. 1 Kings 12:31 says that Jeroboam made houses of high places and made priests from among all the people that were not the sons of Levi. The Hebrew word for house here means palace or temple. Now, I want you to think of the story like the what it was saying about Yeshua. Okay. Some say Jesus. Okay. But that the part of it is that Donald Trump has like shit piles of things made of gold. Am I jealous of his money? No, he can take his money and shove it up his ass. Because those same people that have like shit piles of money say about the poor people. And I watched a thing where he was saying about these other countries, like in the Western world, but us being poor. But he's worth billions, right? Think about it. Didn't Yeshua really have nothing? From what, we were being guided to and told. He wasn't looking for fame and glory. Jeroboam didn't want his people looking to the temple in Jerusalem. So he built a counterfeit temple in Samaria. Notice he then filled that temple with priests of the lowest of the people. King Jeroboam recognized that Tremendousness, Tremendous value of the temple and the Levitical priesthood, which God created and King David established in the United Kingdom of Israel. Jeroboam created his own priesthood of ministers, magicians, and poets. Did you hear that? Magicians? Is magicians not like said to be magic? And it both work. Both sides. That's what you're experiencing right now. And I have a book about the history of stuff. Korean. Verse 32 continues, and Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month on the 15th day of the month. Okay? Like onto the feast that is in Judea. And he went up onto the altar. Jeroboam established his own holy day system, but it was patterned after the holy day system practiced in Judea. It was a perverted form of the true religion. Yeah, I know what perverted is. Yeah. People can look that up, sort it out. for themselves. Don't take my word for everything. I'm great. Thank you. If I don't talk or communicate right now, it's because Spirit has me just centered. One day we'll like have a Zoom, and if I figure out how to, have guests or what have you. Right now, it's not even letting me do anything on my computer. So, okay. True religion. Notice in Leviticus 23:34, God had established the timing of when Israel was to keep the feast of Tabernacles, commanding the 15th day of the 7th month is the Feast of Tabernacles. King Jeroboam kept his Feast of Tabernacles 1 month later. Keep this in mind. This is what it says. King Jeroboam will also replace worship of the Sabbath with worship on Sunday. Yeah, I caught that news today. In Hosea 2:13, God condemns Israel, or Condems Israel, from practicing the religion of Jeroboam, which included replacing God's Sabbath and holy days with her feasts, her new moons, and her Sabbaths, and all her appointed seasons. King Jeroboam promoted idol worship and created a number of pagan idols, many of them taken from Egypt and the surrounding Gentile peoples. He turned his people to these false gods, even claiming that these pagan gods were responsible for releasing Israel from Egyptian captivity. 1 Kings 12:28. Here he chooses God with a familiar place in the heart of early Israel. See Exodus 32. King Jeroboam reigned for 22 years. Yeah, I think that's what it's pronounced, Reigned, for 22 years, during which he deeply entrenched his political religious system in Israel. We know Jeroboam's religious system survived because biblical passages such as 2 Kings 17 show it to be alive and thriving more than 200 years after his death. Verse 22 describes Verse 22 describes Israel's connection toward the end of the 18th century BCE, and the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them. What Jeroboam created became the national religion of the northern kingdom. Throughout the history of this kingdom, the Bible repeatedly condemns condemns the Israelites for following in this way of Jeroboam. In fact, 15 of Israelites' 18 kings are specifically named as Pretuderant, P-E-R-T-E, or P-E-R-P-E-T-U-A-T-I-N-G, Jeroboam's way. In 2 Kings 17:10, we read that practitioners of Jeroboam's religion set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. KJV. The Hebrew term for images means a column or memorial stone. Hebrew Galadi lexicon says it means something set up right specifically. A pillar, a statue, the image of an idol, the statue of Bala. Baal, B-A-A-L. Israelites also worshipped in groves in every high hill, under every green tree. Didn't they say Yeshua was Jewish? But he would challenge the religious aspect of it. The term groves refers to a place marked by trees. Oh, that just brought me back to what they talk about on The Curse of Oak Island, about Oak Island, finding trees. But it's that part that when you look at it, a grove of trees, groves in every high hill and under every green tree. The term groves refers to a place marked by trees. Often, as the scripture clearly says, they would gather under one large tree. Groves can also refer to the pagan goddess Ereshra. They also constructed worship places at the summit of high hills. So I'm Christ consciousness. I see every part of the religions, and I see that everybody's pointing fingers at each other, and they've all been doing it. There's been the ones that have been working to be free from it, not having to live under a thumb. Worshipped all the host of heaven and served Bala, whatever. Okay. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire and used divination, 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 and enchantments, and gave themselves over to do that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him. The Israelites were deeply immersed in the practice of division and enchantments, which is ironic because when I first started in 2020 when I first started decoding things. There was something that come up, and enchantment was in it, suffocation was in it, many other things of what we're experiencing right now, which means sorcery, witchcraft, future telling, and looking to heavenly signs and omens. Okay. People will say that that was frowned upon, okay? But it's going in both sides, okay? They're using it, okay? I buy this stuff. I have books. I don't tell people's fortune because I get them to talk so that they can help to learn how to answer those questions for themselves of what they want to ask. If they wanted to ask me, what's my future? What's my fortune? Well, here, let me talk to you. And let's help you figure that out. Why are you asking these questions? Why do you want to know? What are you experiencing? I don't look at, so I did one, and that was for the truth to come out about my family. Heavenly signs, omens. In fact, their religion had become so deprived, they were practicing human sacrifices using their own children. So people say that, oh, no, that's not happening. Okay. There's a lot that's being revealed right now. And that's the apocalypse. Apocalypse is the unveiling of the truth. By the late 18th century BCE, the religion of Jeroboam was so entrenched, and the Israelites were so unrepentant, even rejecting multiple warnings from God's prophets, that God was left with no choice but to intervene and punish Israel severely. And the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them. 2 Kings 17:22. The primary reason for Israel's punishment, destruction, and deportation was the unrepentant, pervasive practice of the religion of Jeroboam. But remember, despite the rebellion, and although they didn't look like it at the time, these people were God's chosen people, and once great cluster of tribes that God himself had established and loved and had been working with for nearly a millennium. 2 Kings 17 discusses Israel's besiegement, Besiegement, capture and destruction by the Assyrians, 1721 to 1718 BCE. Until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he spoke by the hand of all his servants, the prophets, so Israel was carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. Verse 23. The Bible cannot be clearer. Millions of Israelites, a people deeply steeped in the religion of Jeroboam, were literally carried away to the land of Assyria. The Bible describes the Israelite deportation to up as far as northern Iran, 2 Kings 17:6. The Israelites settled around this northeastern region for a time, but evidence points to a continued migration toward Western Europe. Among other proofs for this migration, there is tangible evidence of the religion of Jeroboam being practiced in Western Europe, and even more so in the British Isles. Okay. See, I just heard how do you feel? Okay. I feel it's each person's right to have their beliefs, but it's being opened to the beliefs of others also. Because it doesn't want to make one belief right over the other. It was the way it was being used. Celtic Druidism. The Oxford Dictionary defines a druid as a priest, magician, or soothsayer in the ancient Celtic religion. The common perception today is that the Druids were a relatively small and insignificant class of people, and that ancient Druidism was an obscure religion, not widely practiced and without influence. This perception is false. I was told by someone that in a past life I was a Druid. You know, we were all each one of this stuff, but nobody wants to believe that. Yeah, I feel like okay. In Celt, Druid, and Cullidi, Isabel Hill Elder writes, the popular belief that Judaism was the religion of ancient Britain and not more is entirely erroneous. Erroneous. Judaism was, in fact, the center and source from which radiated the whole of organized civil and ecclesiastical knowledge. Ecclesiastical knowledge and practice of the country. Yeshua was using energy healing. Yeshua was telling people things about themselves. People get crucified and sacrificed and hung and everything for their beliefs. It's like, seriously, people. And we say we're not barbaric. It shouldn't be happening. Not like I'm just saying, you know, the truth about the Druids is that they were men of culture, well educated, educable, and imperial in the administration of justice. Emphasized at it. Okay. There were actually women Druids too, and they were highly recognized. Said her. Judaism was, in fact, the defining religion of the Celts. The people who lived in the British Isles, including Ireland, before the arrival of the Romans in the 1st century CE. Judaism arrived in the British Isles in waves. However, historians agree that it was entrenched and thriving by the 3rd century BCE, prior to the arrival of the Romans. Druidism, through localized, was an elaborate and well-developed system of government, law, and education. Druids were the leaders of local societies, the guardians of the law, politics, and culture, and the chief magicians and artists. The Encyclopedia Britannica introduces the Druid as a member of the learned class among the ancient Celts. They seem to have frequented oak forest and acted as priests, teachers, and judges. Isn't it interesting that Druid priests were also judges, teachers, and even poets and magicians? This was similar to the Levitical priesthood established in Israel, which were known King Joram Cantor Fitted, Counterfeited, 1 Chronicles 23, 3-5. There are various forms of Druidism, and there are differences in the practices, customs, and beliefs between the various forms. Most, however, recognize 8 annual feasts. God established 7 annual holy days in ancient Israel. Now, okay, I understand, like if you look at the calendar, okay, don't they have Sunday as being the first day? It goes Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Very few people say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I know I always say Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The 4 primary Druidic festivals are Samhain, Samhain, Imbolc, Imbole, Beltane, Beltane, and Lugnasha, LugnasAdh. The 4 minor feasts revolve around the movement of the sun: winter solstice, spring equinox, summer solstice, and fall equinox. It's saying about like the stars. That's what your biblical text, it's trying to tell you. For many Druids, Samhain, Samhain, like I said, can't pronounce everything all the time, was the most important festival. The festival was celebrated on November 1st, though some people celebrated it the 7th or 8th days. The 7th or 8th days. Okay. Recall what King Jeroboam did with the 7-day feast of tabernacles that God inspired, which generally falls sometimes during the months of September and October. He postponed it by 1 month. I just heard, ain't that what they're trying to do with the elections here? Historical records show that the Druids worshipped in stone and timber circles or henges, which were often situated on a high hill. Ireland and the United Kingdom today are littered with stone hedges of all shapes and sizes. Timber hedges are rare due to decomposition. There are well over 100 such ancient stone circles. Elder discusses these. The gigantic monoliths placed in circles and the piles of stones were alike unhewn. Unhewn. These piles called sinuns and cairns, SIUNS or CAIRNS, and in the north of England known as laws or lows, were usually placed on the summit of hills and mounds. They keep saying summit. What does government say about summit? We're going to the summit. So today, the similarity of Sinyun with the Hebrew word Zion, fortress, the mount of stone, as the name Zion in Celtic means, is striking. Most stone hedges have been dated to before Israel's Assyrian captivity. Historians have wondered about their early relevance to Druid practices, since they date long before the earliest written records of the Druids. Still dating from these types of monuments can be quite difficult to ascertain. How to explain this? Historical records show that many Celts traced their ancestry all the way back to Egypt and the Israelites' captivity in Egypt. Round about 1600 BCE. After the Exodus, there is certain evidence to suggest that some Israelites, mainly from the tribe of Dan, separated and set off for the British Isles. Recent discoveries have also affirmed trading during the Judges period between Israel and Cornwall. Fucker. Elemuto Torresana. Cornwall. My 7th great granddaddy got scalped during Cornwall. The Bible also records that the parishes, Pariarchs, and early Israelite leaders such as Moses and Joshua also used stone monuments and altars. Genesis 31:45-36. Joshua 4:19-21. This history records another article, but the point is there was contact with the British Isles during the monarchical period. Judges 5:17. Druids also worshipped in groves or clumps of trees. Oak trees were especially appealing and an important part of religious worship. In Age of Fable, 18th century author Thomas Belfich wrote, "These scared circles were generally situated near some stream or under the shadow of a grove or widely separating oak. In the center of the circle stood the gomlich, or altar, which was a large stone placed in the manner of a table upon other stones set up on end. The Druids had also their high places, which were large stones or piles of stones on the summits of hills. They were called Cairns, Cairns, and were used in the worship of the deity under the symbol of the sun." This reads almost previously like the Bible verses condemning the practices of pagan Israel. The Druids worshipped in the same as the Israelites practices Jeroboam's religion. Among the various Druidic symbols, the snake and the cow were especially important. The Mysteries of the Druids, written in 1861, Winwood Ready wrote, "The Druids worshipped the heavenly bodies and also trees and water and mountains and the signs of the serpent, the bull, and the cross." The serpent and cow featured heavily in Jeroboam's religion as well. 2 Kings 18:4, 1 Kings 12:28-30. Further, the serpent was known as a symbol of the tribe of Dan, the bull. The of Ephraim, Ephraim, the two tribal centers of Jeroboam's worship. Jewish tradition holds that these were the symbols displayed on Dan and Ephraim's tribe flags. Any archaeological excavation in Britain have uncovered the remains of sheep, goats, and cows at Druidic sites. These animals were obviously used in sacrifices. But notice, these are all clean animals. The Druids and King Jeroboam before them could have learned about clean and unclean meats from only one place: righteous Israel. See Leviticus 11. Roman records, specifically the writings of Julius Caesar, indicated that at least some Druids conducted human sacrifices. As we read earlier, this too was a practice of the religion of Jeroboam. So I said, it is also fascinating to consider the way the Druidic ministry was organized in various orders, in how the gospel came to Britain. Brian Williams writes, one class was concerned strictly with the priestly or official office. There was another class which were considered prophets and were occasionally employed at the altar, but with a special duty of the composition of music and scared hymns. A third, strictly secular class was occupied in composing and reciting poetry for the engagement of virtue and condemnation of vice. A fourth class was devoted to astrology, sorcery, and occultism. The priesthood was a hereditary, but the chief druid was elected. Again, compare that with the Bible's description of how King David organized the Levites in 1 Chronicles 23 and 24 under God's direction. David divided the Levites into departments or courses. These included officers and judges, porters, singers, magicians, and departments responsible for even more specific functions. Archaeological excavation in the British Isles have uncovered the remains of Druid priests. Along with the skull remains, priestly garments, intricately designed clothes of amazing patterns and colors, subdued with previous stones, have also been found. From whom did the Druids and Jeroboam before them learn about priestly garb, Garb? Again, from the high priests in righteous Israel. Passengers such as Exodus 28:15-21 show the high priest wearing a white robe and a golden breastplate set with 12 precious jewels. Records show that the Druids perpetuated their religion and government through well-developed system of education. There were educational institutions or colleges spread throughout the British Isles. Elder wrote that when the Romans invaded, there were 40 Druidic centers of learning, and that their 40 colleges were each presided over by a chief Druid. During the time of Julius Caesar, people were traveling from Europe to the British Isles to be educated in Druidic colleges. But where did the Druids and King Jeroboam before them get the idea of institutionalized education? Once again, from righteous Israel, the Bible clearly reveals that Samuel, the prophet, established Sophisticated, Sophisticated, well-ordered system of education in Israel during the late 12th century and 11th century BCE. 1 Samuel 19:18-24, 2 Kings 2:3-15. Samuel had 3 colleges and probably hundreds of students, sons of the prophets. King David himself was educated by Samuel and probably attended one of these colleges. The arrival of Christianity. What happened when Roman Christianity began to arrive in the British Isles in the late 1st century? Was Celtic Judaism eradicated? Was it absorbed into British Christianity? The answer is both. Elder writes, upon the introduction of Christianity, the Druids were called upon, not so much to reverse their ancient faith as to lay it down for a fuller and more perfect revelation. No country can show a more rapid natural merging of nation religion into Christianity than that which was witnessed in Britain in the first century. The readiness with which the Druids accepted Christianity, the facilities with which their places of worship and college were turned to Christian use, the willingness of the people to accept the new religion are facts which the modern historian has either overlooked or ignored. In the Offshore Islanders, historian Paul Johnson described how Britain's Christianity has always been distinct from Roman Christianity. Johnson calls it a Celtic Christianity, and it was proponent, Prominet, or ENT, in various forms and other localized throughout the British Isles, especially Wales, Scotland, and Ireland, before the large-scale arrival of Roman Catholicism in the late 7th century. Celtic Christianity was essentially a blend of Celtic religion and tradition and Christianity. One of the key examples of this is the worship of Halloween. For more details on this topic and its fascinating connection to Roman's religion, see Halloween in the Hebrew Bible. Now, if you're still with me, I'm going to read my genealogy line on my great-great-Grammy's side, from my great-Grammy to her dad and his dad before him, and so on. Okay, it's me, then my mom, and then my grampy. His name was David, and his father was John, and John's father was John David. My great-Grammy name was Mary Elizabeth. Now, if you look in this book, it was Mary, and she had a really good friend, Elizabeth. My third great-Grampy, okay, David, the last name is Levy. But as we keep going, I'll show you. So David, Jerusalem. Okay. So now we're going to look up that name. Okay. Because that's not a name that most people have. Okay. Quita por ahí. I struggle with pronouncing words, and I'm going to spell it for you. Okay. Gershom. According to the Bible, Gershom was the firstborn son of Moses and Zipporah. Zipporah. The name means a stranger there in Hebrew. Okay. So that was my fourth great granddaddy, Nithra Levi. Keep in mind, we're always living in the now. Oh, hold on. Geep. Okay. Maybe that one wasn't there. Okay, root, to jump, be violently aggravated. Okay, to terrify, shake off. Unity. Okay, so now I know I've heard of Nithra. Asher. Asher Levi. Asher was the 8th son of Jacob, which the name Jacob, my 6th great granddaddy, I'm the same, like with my grandfather, my 6th great granddaddy, his name Jacob. He went by Jacob a lot. Born to Zilpah, the handmaid of Jacob's first wife, Leah. The Hebrew Bible indicates that he led one of the most prosperous and abundant tribes. Asher and his later tribe were characterized by their happiness, prosperity, and rich food. And this was part of the Levites. Asher, okay, was the last of the 2 sons of Jacob and Zilpah, Jacob's 8th son, and the founder of the Israelite tribe. Didn't like that? I'm not picking sides, because I know what it's like to have almost like a family feud. Okay? These are names you don't hear, because like on the other side, you never really heard, like they were just everyday names. A lot of Johns in my family. Moses Raphael. Okay, Moses. And then it has the middle name Levi. What does the Bible say about Moses? In Hebrew Bible, Christian Old Testament, Moses is portrayed as a poet who receives the 10 Commandments from Yahweh God. Early in his story, he is responsible for leading the Israelites out of slavery and parting the Red Sea to let them escape from the Egyptians. Yeshua, Isaac, have Levi. And it's with an I. Yeshua. Well, we all know. People call him Jesus, but, did he? Like I said. Because if you watch Once Upon a Time, there were twins, and the Dark One come and took one of the twins. It was David and James. Get to read? The book of James, King James and King David. Get out to read, Teresa. Watch Once Upon a Time, the series. Seriously. It's very enlightening. Yeshua, therefore, Jesus' biblical name is either Yeshua or Yeshua. And Yeshua means yes, you are the way. So Matthew should more accurately read, and she will bring forth a son, and you shall call his name Yeshua, salvation, for he will save his people from their sins. Systems integrated into society. That's why he was going around destroying stuff. For he is my Yeshua. He is my salvation, it says in here. Okay, now go to Isaac. And Yeshua, Yetzikah Halevi. They're Halevi. Okay. Isaac in the Hebrew Bible, Old Testament, Book of Genesis, the second of the Patriarchs of Israel, the only son of Abraham and Sarah, and the father of Esau and Jacob. Although Sarah was past the age of childbearing, God promised Abraham and Sarah that they would have a son, and Isaac was born. I had a strange experience one day. I was at a church, and I was it was like I was in my heart, and I approached a woman, and I touched her, and I told her she was going to have a baby. It was very strange. Now I got to put this name. I can't pronounce it. YITZCHAK. Oh. Ha! It's there. It's just switched. Isaac, and then it has that name that I just spelled, and then Isaac. Okay, let's check this out. Isaac. Okay, that's another part of his name. Is the second of the patriarchs of the Jewish people. He was the son of Abraham and Sarah. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. So that was his name. And it was reversed. And then Moses again, Halevi. So there was Moses Raphael Levi with a Y. and then Moses Halevi with an I, and then Solomon. And who was Solomon's father? From what I read and understood, it was King David, right? You know, I never got so much into biblical stuff until I actually started looking into my ancestral line. And then I started seeing things and understanding things a little more. So when I bought a Bible, I had one, but I was in 2020, I was highlighting things because it was before Trump got out of office, things that he was saying. I was like looking into dates, and I was using it with reference to the Bible. And a lot of Deuteronomy was coming up. So Solomon, S-O-L. And it's Ben Isaac. You know, they say about it. There's a thing said in there about Benjamin. Rabbi Solomon ben Isaac. 1040, 1106, and this is my 11th great granddaddy. Commonly known by his Assyrian Rashi, ACRONYM, Rashi, RASHI, was the single most influential Jewish Bible commentator of the Middle Ages. And this is the name that I punched in of Halevi. Rashi works included a commentary of the Tanakh Hebrew Bible, a commentary of the Babylonian Talmud, and various Haggadic works and response. That would take him back to then. There's my ancestral line. Basically, puturi. Isomochla. Ela putukuri puturi satotori antuturi tata. Kisutupri. Ela puturi beria satotore. Atoturi kututuri kitotore ain. Disiko riesce a essere lui. I never looked it up that way. But that would be about right. And when I now look back at other things that I've been looking into, I understand what it's talking about in what I just read. See, others, they want to block me. I contacted other people, individuals, They didn't contact me back. But it's Spirit's way of saying, no, either timing wasn't right or wrong people. See, what makes me really suspicious now, more so now, after reading that and this part and what have you, because when I read my 6th grade granddaddy's will on here live, and I went back to look up more of it, of the property, when I went back to land registry, they had removed it all. So it makes you like it's like, just by me reading my great granddaddy's will, it caused them to remove the deeds. That's pretty sad. It's that part, ask them, like, seriously, what the fuck are you hiding? Why would you do that? Like, seriously, legitimate question. Why would you remove something if you weren't guilty of something? Geto por aí? See, there's people that, like, they won't understand when I bring it forward. And somebody tell me, oh, well, like, they're not family. Like, they're way back. Yeah. Well, when you look at it the way that everything is always in the now, they're still family. They're parts of us. And that's why what we're experiencing in the world today is why it's happening. That's why I come on and say, Donald Trump, how did you find God? People might say, well, it's not your business. But, if people explained and said how they found God, it might help other people to understand that maybe they did find God. They just don't know it yet. So sharing your experiences. Because, a true believer don't make deals like that. People can like him. That's entirely up to yourself. But I'm allowed to have a lot of suspicions about him because of what I've looked into. I found God, and when I found God, I started speaking different languages. I started connecting with energies. And people might throw shade at me or shit at me because, oh, well, you got those books, you got those crystals, you got this, you got that, because of what it says. Well, they were all doing it. I just like it. It's like, holy fuck, man. We're put in the middle. We're here to sort this shit out. We're here to sort it all out. It's like, fine, like that last part. It really, like, ding, 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 ding. Okay, yes. That far away. guy would have been my would have been my 11th great granddaddy. That's who they were talking about. And that last one is Solomon. It's a part of, the way to healing. People say, oh, just get over the past. But the way to healing is seeing the past and looking at it to find out what really went down so that we can heal from it. And I understand some people, they don't want that to come to light. But it's that part, it's going to. And it's going to come to light. Easy or hard. Like, I'm like right now, I'm still mind blown with that last part. Because before I only looked up Solomon in the Bible. I didn't look up that full name. But Halevi. Started in the same place. So when they referred on one side as a man and then they referred as a woman, it's like it's that part of man against woman. But it's a belief system that carries over different things but creates its own. And right now we're in a system like there's no real freedom of belief. One side like looks to the trees and the mountains and nature and what have you, and the other one, it's just all about politics and religion. I'm glad I come on here and did this because it helped me to find that. And I feel that. It's that part, and it's I did another thing the other day and read a lot of stuff off of with regards to terrorism. I said it, they're all doing it, but they're pointing fingers at each other to keep the people distracted from knowing, they're all doing it to the people, even their own families, and that's sad. They come on and people speak out, they fuck up their algorithms. I had someone, an agent, but I didn't take an agent because I didn't come on here to make money or to get followers. Because people's going to hear what I have to say or they're not. They're going to get something from it or they're not. They're going to laugh with me. They're going to cry with me. They're going to get pissed off at me. They're going to give a reaction one way or another. It's like giving that reaction one way or another. And if I'm not, if you're not reacting to what I'm bringing forward, whatever reaction it is, then I'm not waking you up. I had somebody tell me that they're very much woke. Well, there's a difference between woke and awake. Woke is more on the political side, whereas awake is more on the spiritual side. But it understands everything. Whereas woke people, it's like, you know, I don't care as long as it stops the wars. Wars have been stopped before, but they keep picking up again. Why? Because everybody's making deals. Take your deals and shove them up your ass. Because you're only making deals to benefit you. And you're giving a little bit to the people. It's like doing what you're saying that you're going to do and not backstabbing the people because you've got a little coverage in behind. That's why I say, Trump, show me. You know, tell your story. What do you like? What are you afraid of? I come on here looking like a fucking raging lunatic, an immature little brat sometimes, bitch, an asshole. But I ain't gonna give you fucking lip service, and I sure the fuck ain't gonna tell you what you want to hear. I'm gonna tell you the shit you don't want to hear. And if I read something, I'm going to tell you what I'm getting from it. If I glitch, it's like, well, that's Spirit's way of telling me that, well, that ain't, like, something's wrong there. It's hard because my own family don't, like, get this. And I understand that part, you know. It's like, what the fuck? I know some think that I'm causing problems in the family. But it's my inner child's pain coming through. Because it's saying it's got to get off me. I got to get it out. And it's not to cause problems, it's to say, you know, like, I know where you're coming from too, because I know your story. But I'm not my story anymore. That was the part of me that had to go through the stuff I went through and the lessons I had to go through in order to wake up. In order to find God, source, spirit, creator, but I say spirit, in order to find spirit, to find my heart, to find love for myself instead of looking in a mirror and saying, I fucking hate you. Because that was my inner child hating me for not protecting it. For not standing up. So if people get irritated with me because I'm not the same person anymore, that's sad. Because it's called growth. And when somebody's trying to talk and they get shut down, it comes out. And some may say, well, it doesn't come out in a healthy way. Well, for that person, yes, it does. Especially if it's coming out and it's helping other people look at their own stuff and allowing themselves to feel it, experience it, and cry to let it out. This many times, sometimes this, meditation will calm me down, like will just kind of put me in a zen. But there's times when, that zen ain't going to work for you. It's going to come up. And it's going to come up calmly to discuss to talk about with people. But when somebody goes unheard, it doesn't have such a great effect. But it's that part of really actually, instead of hearing one thing and running with it because it was about you, hear the whole thing. Not just bits and pieces of it, or bits and pieces of what somebody else tells you. Because if what I'm bringing forward is causing problems in my family, well, I'm not going to take the blame for it. Because I didn't come on here to cause problems. I come on here for my inner child to speak up. And to help others relate with themselves. I'm going to be that mirror. So if you need to tell me or look at me and want to hurt me and say I hate you and what have you, I guess I triggered you to see something that you didn't want to see. And that's okay. It's that part of keep your hands to yourself, though. Because I have what appears to be temper tantrums sometimes, but not because I'm not getting my own way. Because it's that part of my inner child that is trying to deal with something and how to deal with it or voice it. And our ancestors have been going through that. Because a lot of time we've been silenced. Because nobody wants to hear the truth. They want to say that they want the truth. But it's like that saying, you can't handle the truth. And sometimes we can't. And it's mind fuck. It's mind blowing. Sometimes you feel like your heart's going to explode or your head's going to explode or you're going to put your fist through the wall or you're going to destroy your house or you just you feel like you're going to hit someone. I said before, sometimes I feel like, I have a punching bag, but I don't know where to put it up and I wouldn't be able to put it up myself anyways. Because it's one of those UFC bags. But I would use it. And I don't put on gloves either. I've done it before where I was punching it. I didn't have no gloves on. And my knuckles were all scraped up. But it was that part of me that said I needed that. Because it's not like I was hitting anybody. but it was just like, it, like hitting it and kicking it, just releasing. Do I like violence? No, I can't stand violence. That's why when I get that coming up within me, because my body's trying to kick it out, that's why I go deep in here and I just scream it. I just hold in and just, it helps. I mean, they do have my, like, spirit has to come in sometimes and say, Tara, just let it out easy. Because I just want to go, boom. It's like that part, get the fuck off me. Get a pototore esala. It's sototore shoramin sikruwe. Sikutotoeta. But, oh shit. And I know that they've been affecting my algorithms, like always. You know, they don't like the truth getting out. Oh, fancy. Beretore. Like looking at my stuff and like that, and I know where I come from. I know my ancestors because they're speaking. They're coming up through me, the voice, bringing and guiding me to bring certain things forward because it's that part of, you know, my truth. Talking about oak trees, the greatest oak was once a little nut who held its ground. I read that the other day. One that would have the fruit must climb the tree. In the fruit, if you want the fruit, you have to do the work in order to reach it. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. And I'll show this again because my great niece for Christmas last year, she was 3 and she got that for me. Her mother told me that she picked it out herself. Don't wait for opportunity, create it. With that being said, I'm sending you all much love, light, many blessings, most importantly, very good health to anyone and everyone wanting, willing to receive and accept. I want you all to be big, bold, brave. Most importantly, be yourself. Be your authentic self. Be who you are, not who somebody says you are. Be true to yourself. Be true to others. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. And most importantly, know that you have more strength than you can comprehend at times. Sending you all love. Hope you're having a great weekend.